So I'm just back to work after 16 days off. Not by choice. It is a company shutdown. I do not take vacations. I took 16 days off. And you know how it's like, how you go from like, this is fucking weird. And then, oh, this is good. And then, damn, I'm kind of ready to get back to work. I got to the point where it's weird because vacation is so long that it now becomes too short, which is a problem that I didn't know you could have because I've never taken 16 days off in a row before. At least not that I can remember. Maybe during leave when I was in the army. I don't fucking who knows? Who knows? Anyway, it's Tuesday night. I went back to work Monday morning. Got up 4:30 in the morning. Day went by pretty quick, which was nice. Got work at 6, got out at 2:30, went to the gym. This is where the day dipped a little bit here. So, one guy who I've seen at the gym a bunch asked me for a spot because he was bench pressing. I can do that. No problem. I'm going to give him a spot. And before he starts, you know you might take like a deep breath or something, you get ready. You know what I mean? Something like that. He does that, but he just a full breath just straight into my face. And I wasn't standing over him. It was like I was like slightly like because he wasn't lifting it yet. So I wasn't like standing up right fucking there, you know what I mean? Like, I was just kinda standing back, waiting for him to get ready while he's warming up, and then he it's and I know he could have not blown it his full deep breath of blue collar lunch, I don't even know what he had, straight into my mouth because I've actually taken a deep breath before, and I know that if you, like, change your lip position, you can push it a different a different way, like, we don't have to it doesn't have to be into my mouth, you know what I mean? You don't we don't have to don't do that next time, like, that may seem crazy, but that's been on my mind pretty heavily since it happened, if I'm being completely honest, but let's get into the show.
Touchdown! Unbelievable! Wide right.
Flowers off to the races. Burrow kicks him in, and a flag is thrown.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
So the regular season has ended and the playoffs are upon us. On one hand, it is cool because it's like fucking the playoffs. This is good should be ideally it should be good football every single game. The top teams finally duking it out for a soupy, for a title, see who's who and what's what. But on the other hand, it sucks because it's football's almost over. And no one wants football to be over. I certainly don't. It's the wor it's a shit feeling that I don't know what to do. It makes me sad. It makes me really sad to know that football is almost done. It is absolutely awful. But last week, we were talking about a potential trade that we stumbled on, a trade between Lamar Jackson for Joe Burrow. Now, this may seem like, is this realistic? Like, will this happen? Probably not. If it does, fu I called it first, okay? No one saw this coming other than me, if it happens. But is that realistic? No. Is it possible? Like, is it yes. For one, just think about the characters. Think about the players, okay? Joe Burrow just seems like a fit in Baltimore, doesn't he? I don't know what there is to do in Baltimore, but I feel like it's probably not a lot. And I think that's good for Joe Burrow. I think he would thrive in an environment. Imagine that's how good he is. Like we've seen him in Cincinnati. That's how good he is. Imagine how good he'd be in a town where there is nothing really to do except focus on football. Not that he doesn't do that now, but it, I don't know. What else is I've never been to Baltimore. I don't know anything about the city. Can't imagine there's fucking a shit ton going on. I'll be honest with you. Cannot imagine there's a shit ton going on. So I think that would be cool. Also, just do the mentally picture Joe Burrow in a Ravens uniform. White pants, purple jersey. Maybe he's got like the black socks on with some purple sneakers. Blonde hair. Just on the sideline, he's just swiping it back over and over again. Picture. I'm doing it right now. I've got my eyes closed. I'm picturing it. It looks good. It looks fucking pretty sick. Doesn't it? It looks pretty fucking sick. Since coming into the league, Joe Burrow has thrown 20,810 passing yards, 157 touchdowns, and 51 interceptions. Not that crazy. The Bengals have a surprisingly good offensive line. They're tied for 9th, but their defense is absolute dog shit. 31st. But this is what Joe Burrow's been doing on a team that is not designed to win. And there's been he made it to the Super Bowl in his sophomore year. He finds ways to win. He puts up points. Now let's run a little similar exercise for Lamar Jackson. It would be, this seems like a cultural fit where Lamar just cares about, if this is a personal opinion, all he cares about is getting his numbers, getting his paycheck, getting his numbers, playing his video games. He wants to win MVPs, doesn't really feel like he cares about winning a Super Bowl. That may not be fair to say. But when you hear about what's going on, he had the holdout in, what was that, 22, where he didn't want to sign. He wanted like 60 million guaranteed or whatever the fuck it was, some crazy ass number. And so he was holding out for that. And they finally caved. I think they gave him the franchise tag and they came to a deal. Good for you, bud. Think about all his MVPs. Think about last season's MVP. What is that, the 2024 MVP? The one that Josh Allen won. And it was between Lamar and Josh Allen. Everyone wanted Lamar to win his third. Not that he's undeserving of the first two, but Lamar Jackson played, I believe, 12 more quarters of football than Josh Allen did. When they had games won and he would stay out there filling up his stat sheet. Do you, man? If that's the game you want to play, that's totally fine with me. That's the game Cincinnati plays. Cincinnati plays electric offense, filling the stat sheet. They don't seem super serious about winning games. Lamar Jackson obviously wants to win. He's an all-time. He's a professional athlete. They all want to win. But there are some other guys who have been professional athletes who maybe they didn't want to win as much. You know what I mean? Like Ben Simmons on the Sixers. He didn't really give a fuck about winning. You know what I mean? Didn't care about improving a jump shot, shit like that. Like, Lamar seems like a good cultural fit for what the Bengals do, which is, it never really feels like they're taking winning a Super Bowl seriously. You know who does? Is Joe Burrow. You know who does take winning a Super Bowl seriously? The fucking Ravens. They compete for, at least in the playoffs, fucking every year, it seems like. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but I don't know the last time they didn't make the playoffs before this season. They do it every year. John Harbaugh's been there for a long time. He's got a good record. He builds good defenses. He builds good it Joe Burrow's the best pocket passer in the league. Um, y it'll be it's a you can spend more other places. You don't need Derrick Henry running like crazy to get the pressure off of the run game for Lamar Jackson because Chase Brown just did it with Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco. Chase Brown had a good season. Is anyone putting him up there with Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey or James Cook? No. So why not make that swap? Here's Lamar Jackson. I trimmed down Lamar Jackson's stats to just after Joe Burrow came in the league. So it's the same like 6 years. Okay, when you trim those down, Lamar Jackson has 18,280 passing yards, 145 touchdowns, and 47 interceptions. Less interceptions, but also less touchdowns, and about 1,500 less passing yards. Now, this is where he kind of overcomes that. Lamar Jackson also has about 4,600 rushing yards and 23 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty fucking good. I'm not knocking that. I am not knocking that. Okay? Pretty good stat sheet, all in all. Everyone would take that. Now, I want you to mentally picture Lamar Jackson. Close your eyes. Mentally picture Lamar Jackson. See if you can see him wearing that Cincinnati uniform. See him with the black pants on. I want to see some black shoes, some black pants, that white jersey with the orange and black tiger stripes on the shoulders. You know what I'm talking about? That one. You got an orange number with a black outline around it. I'll be honest with you, I had a little trouble picturing this at first. But then I looked up Alakai Smith, the last non-white starting quarterback for Cincinnati back in 2002. And then all of a sudden, the Lamar Jackson in Cincinnati uniform, it became a lot easier to picture. Once, because you see the history over 23 years of white dudes wearing Bengals uniforms. Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton, Joe Burrow. Some of the whitest people on the planet, Joe Flacco. Gosh, Andy Dalton and Carson Palmer, those are two crazy white guys. I mean, in terms of how white they are, they're very white. But Alakai Smith, and then it all came to fruition. I could see this working. I could see the trade happening. I could see it. And if you're like, oh, what about cap? You know, the cap is always complicated. You think I didn't fucking do a little research on that? I looked into that. Now, the contracts are ever so slightly different. I don't have all the exact numbers, but essentially, there's 50 to 60 million in dead cap space and on dead cap that each team would have to take the hit on because of the contracts that those two quarterbacks have, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. But the beauty about this is that, yeah, you've got 56 million in dead cap space. And that really fucking sucks. But you also have a 50 to 60 million dollar quarterback playing for you. And that's the same for both organizations. They're both paying top 4 quarterback prices, and both teams have a top 4 quarterback. It seems crazy to suggest it. They both have a no trade clause in their contract. Would they accept it? Unlikely. It's within the division. Why would they want to go play for their rival? But that doesn't make it impossible. It's very, very feasible that this could happen. Each team would be paying for a $50 to $60 million quarterback, and each team would be getting the services of a $50 to $60 million quarterback, just not the one on their team. So what's the loss? You're getting what you pay for, just not who you pay for. You're getting a good cultural fit. Probably better than the one you have now. I don't know. We hear all these rocky things about Lamar and Baltimore. We've got all these question marks about Joe Burrow having fun again. You know what's fun for Joe Burrow? Winning games. You know what Baltimore does? Win a lot of games. What seems to be fun for Lamar Jackson? Putting up crazy ass fucking stat lines. You know what Cincinnati does? Puts up crazy ass fucking stat lines. It seems preposterous. It really does. But when you just take a step and you go, would it be cool? And you know what? Fucking yeah, it would be really fucking cool, wouldn't it? It would be really fucking cool. And imagine how much better Lamar could be throwing to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That'd be fucking pretty good. Imagine how many more wins Joe Burrow could get with a team that actually, somewhat, at the very least, relatively understands how to play defense. It would appease everyone. And I'll tell you this, the only thing that stops it is the fact that they're in division. And if one team outperforms the other, that's going to go up the other guy's fucking ass sideways, isn't it? But who cares, man? Who cares? Because as it is right now, Baltimore and Cincinnati aren't winning Super Bowls. With this trade, hell, that could be the AFC Championship next year. I don't fucking know. Shit could get crazy. It seems ridiculous, but that's a fun, silly little trade that we've put together. Lamar Jackson for Joe Burrow, straight up, it works. And it's a good fucking time. You're telling me you wouldn't tune into those games? I'd be watching that. I might watch that over the Bills, depending on who they play week 1. But I'm going to watch that over the Bills. Just saying. I am just saying, we are getting into the playoffs. Week 18 has come and gone. It's wild card weekend. And I went through some of the games, and, I couldn't come up with one for every team. But there were some teams where it was like, these seem like they really need some keys to go their way. I didn't do one for the Texans Steelers on Monday night. I don't think I did one for the Niners and the Eagles, because I don't really know what to expect from either of those games. But I put together some keys to a playoff victory for a handful of these teams, okay? So first for the Bills, easiest one, commit to the run game. I think Jacksonville has a more vulnerable run defense than we are led to believe. Get that pressure off Josh Allen. I don't want him being Superman every single snap. I want him to be Superman 5 snaps in this game. And that's going to get us. There's a lot of pressure on the Bills, which means there's a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. Let's get it off of him, get him playing a little loose, get him playing a little free, have him make some spectacular plays. The rest of the team, just do your part. Okay? Without Josh Allen at quarterback, we just saw 35-plus points get put up. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was 35 points with Mitch Trubisky. Do that for our boy Josh. Doesn't he deserve a little help on that end? Doesn't James Cook deserve a little help on that end? Let's do these boys a little favor. Get them an easy win in round 1, and let's get on to the divisional, and then we can handle business then. Now, for the Jags. This is important. The Jacksonville Jaguars, you need to do everything you can to play this game in London. I don't know how you're gonna pull that off, but that is vastly important. Trevor Lawrence is 3-1 in games that he plays in London. That's home turf for them. That's where they win games. That's where no one else tends to beat them. They beat the Bills in London once before already. If you wanna beat the Bills, that's how you gotta do it. You gotta find a way to get this game in London. I don't think it's gonna happen by Sunday, but you could try, but give it everything you got to play this game in London. Los Angeles Rams. Just execute exactly as we have seen you do for the majority of the season. Just go out, play sharp, consistent football under the helm of Matt Stafford, an underrated defense built by Sean McVay, one of the greatest minds in the offensive landscape, has somehow put together an unsung, quiet, dominant defense. Just execute the way we expect you to. That's it. They're playing the Panthers. Now, the Panthers have actually beaten this Rams team earlier this year. So that should inspire you a little bit of hope. You did it in Carolina, but you still did it. That should inspire hope. And you should carry that hope in that the rest of the Los Angeles Rams entire organization and team, maybe their plane gets struck by lightning and they land safely. I don't know where they're flying to, just to Barbados or something for a day. And then they come down and they're like, wow, that was crazy. We all almost died as a team. I think I need to do more than just expend my power and athleticism on another human being. I think there's more to life than football. I think I'm going to retire. That's what the whole team needs to do. If they do that, then the Panthers can win this game. Chargers, it's very important that you keep Herbert alive. He's been sacked an insane amount of times. I'm not sure how he's still walking. Not sure how he still has chosen to play this game. But if the Chargers want to win, you need to find a way to keep Herbert alive. I don't know what that's going to entail, but you got to do it. And the last key to winning that we have for this upcoming weekend, again, we didn't do every team. The Chicago Bears, just trust Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. This is a banged up Packers team. You're gonna feel the pressure from being in the playoffs. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. This Packers team ain't that good right now. A lot of injuries on this Packers team. You're at home. You've won the North. Trust Ben Johnson. Trust Caleb Williams. I hope he paints his nails in a fancy way. I hope he wears some kind of eccentric outfit. I hope we get to see Ben Johnson take his shirt off in the locker room again. Not that I'm into that, but it's a fun thing to see, don't you think? That's the key. That's the key to the game for the Chicago Bears. Just trust Ben Johnson. Just trust Ben Johnson, and you guys will be all good. So those are our keys to winning for just a handful of teams in the wild card round. Every other team, I don't know. I'm not going to make a prediction on every game because I'm going to be 100% wrong. If these guys want to win, this is how they do it. Unfortunately, I think the Steelers are fucked. I think the Texans are going to pull that one out. The Niners, Eagles, I have no idea what to expect. That could go either way. The Eagles' offense is atrocious, but their defense is impeccable. And they say defense wins championships. So who fucking knows? I don't. I don't fucking know. If I had to pick, I'd pick the Eagles, but I don't know what the key to the game is. I just keep playing good defense. I don't fucking know. Now, with all that being said, there are some things that I'm not buying while going into this weekend. The first thing I'm not buying is this year's particular MVP race. I don't know. It all just seems off. On one hand, we've got Matt Stafford, he's got the wins, he's got the stats, but now a lot of people are like, well, he's thrown 10 touchdowns from the 1 yard line. Hey, fair enough. That's a decent qualm to have. And when it gets in one of these kind of heated MVP debates, you got to take every shot that you can. But now Drake May's got the easiest schedule. So now it's like, I don't know. And now people are like, well, Matt Stafford's got a lot of really good weapons. I'm just like, yeah, I think the Patriots might be a little underrated. I think they have, I don't want to say they have the better head coach because I just realized it's Sean McVay and Mike Vrabel, but I don't even know if there's a coaching edge there. But hey, he still played. Yeah, yeah, maybe Stafford has a better receiving core, better weapons around him. He also played a tougher schedule. Played Seattle twice, played the Niners twice, played Arizona twice. Not that that matters. I'm pretty sure he played Philly. They've had some tough games on their schedule, and that the Patriots just haven't. The Patriots have one win over a team that's over 500. That ain't that fucking good. Ain't that fucking good, you know? But it's like, so you look at Drake May's stats, week 17 against the Jets. He had 256 yards, I think, 5 touchdowns, 19 completions. Not bad. What about another stat line? Let me throw this stat line at you. 22 completions, 4 touchdowns, 259 yards. That was week 18 against the Jets. You know who did that? Mitch Trubisky. Okay? So those are pretty comparable. And if we're talking a backup quarterback versus a potential NFL MVP, don't you want there to be a little bit more of a gap? Everyone was like, "Well, this is the game that kind of decided the MVP race." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not saying it didn't." But, it's everything is fine until you layer in a little context, until you layer in a little comparison. Now, unfortunately, we only have the one game to compare Mitch Trubisky to Drake May this season. And that sucks. But you know what? Fucking you'd still want it to be a little closer. You're telling me Mitch Trubisky came off the bench and put up 4 tutties and more yards and more completions? Yikes, brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm just not buying the MVP race this year. It's a confusing one. It's a tough one. I don't know who's going to win it. I'm unsure of who I want to win it. I've been so back and forth with this whole thing because I hate the Patriots. And because of that, no disrespect to Drake May, Mr. May, and his wife, Ma'am May, I don't like him. And that's the goddamn truth. He seems like a great guy, but you play for a rival, and that's the rules. You're too good too soon. Sorry. Okay? Hates to be you. But then he's also done some pretty impressive things that we haven't really seen from. I mean, Matt Stafford's been good, but the 10 1-yard touchdowns is it's tough to argue with. It's really not that great. And then he had a couple late stinkers. So who do I think is going to win? I don't know. Maybe it should be neither of those. Maybe it should be a guy we're not even thinking of. Like maybe it should be fucking Caleb Williams. Maybe it should be Bryce Young. Maybe it should be Trevor Lawrence. They got fucking 13, 14 wins. Who not? You know what I mean? Like you could find a case for a million people this year. That's all I'm saying. I'm leaving Josh Allen off that list, though. I do think he is the MVP. I don't want him to win because, as we've gone over, that hurts your chances to win a Super Bowl statistically. I don't want that. I want to win the Super Bowl this year. He can get more MVPs later on. Another thing I'm not buying is that I don't think VR, virtual reality, I don't think it's that cool. I don't. Like, I've never used one, but it seems like you need like a lot of room to do the best stuff with it. And as far as I can tell, the best way to use it is, like, being able to, like, actually, like, walk or run. Like, in those ki like, if I'm in Call of Duty, VR Call of Duty Zombies, I wanna be able to run, and I can't just I can't just do that. What if I'm playing Resident Evil and I get spooked? I gotta take off in the other direction. Now I can't do that? The only way to do that without splitting your head on the corner of your living room and your hallway, like that wall right there, is to have, like, an omnidirectional treadmill installed into your house, or you have to go worse than that, you gotta dig deep, uproot some foundation maybe, I don't know, reinforce your first floor because you gotta install, like, a big, like a the wheel on the bottom of a mouse pad? You gotta put, like, one of those in so that you can go fucking any which way you want and not, die. So, I'm just not buying that it's that cool. Also, I feel like it should look better. I feel like the graphics aren't as good as you want them to be, and why, oh, why is it so big? I also it looks stupid. Make it smaller. Why do I have to extend the length of my forehead by 2 to 4 inches to play video games of relatively low quality? That seems like a gross miscalculation. The last thing that I am not buying this year. This is a big one. Or sorry, not buying this year, not buying this weekend. This is a big one for me, okay? I'm not buying chapstick. I do use chapstick. It's winter and we use a wood stove. My lips get dry. All right, bitch. Get over it. But I'm not buying chapstick. I'm convinced that it is a scam. Now, when I say that, a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, it's big chapstick trying to make you buy more chapstick because that's when like you use more chapstick after you start using it. Like that's when you need it the most." And typically, I would agree with you. However, I think there's a hungrier dog in this fight, playing bigger, deeper chess games than we are. Potentially 6 to 7D chess. It's hard to say for certain. I think the plight of chapstick, I think it falls largely on big clothesline. Big clothesline. You know the thing that your Meemaw used to have in the backyard, and she'd stand on the porch or whatever, and she'd put clip a shirt to it with 2 pieces of wood and a spring on it, and then she'd beep, 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 beep. She'd send it out 4 to 5 inches and then put another t-shirt on there and then beep, 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 beep. And now you got your undies blowing in the breeze, trying to air dry on a hot summer's day. That is who is up to this chapstick business. Now, why is Big Clothesline in the chapstick business? That is because they're trying to take down Big Dryer. Think about when I've never completed a stick of chapstick. I always inevitably leave it in my pocket, wash and dry the pants. Now, when you take the the chapstick out and you find it is an empty tube. It's a completely cleaned out empty tube. No signs of chapstick anywhere. It's not in the clothes. It's not. It's hot. It's gone. It is completely evaporated into nothing. Okay, where does it go? That is big clothesline trying to give us another reason on top of the dryer stealing socks for us to move off dryers and go back to clotheslines. It sounds ridiculous. I stand by this statement. I am not 100%. I think Big Washer might be in cahoots with Big Clothesline, and Big Washer might be the one stealing the fucking socks, and we just blame the dryer. I'm not ruling that out. I don't know about you guys. I've used a dryer a lot in my 28 years of life. Used a dryer a lot. You know what I've never seen? The vent sticking out the back of my house where the dryer vents out to. I've never seen a sock there on the ground. Have you? I've never pulled a sock out of the lint trap. Have you? I'm just saying, it might be Big Washer in cahoots with Big Clothesline, and they're trying to take down Big Dryer because Big Dryer's stealing all the glory. Think about how many more times you use a dryer. My clothes aren't all the way dry yet. Run the dryer again. Ah, I need to wear this pair of pants later, but I just spilled some water on them. Dryer. I'm out on a hot date and I crumb in my jeans. And now I gotta go into a public bathroom, splash some water, try and get the stain off of there. And now I'm holding my pants up to what? A little tiny hand dryer. Big washer and big clothesline are in cahoots with big chapstick to try and take down big dryer. I don't know what big dryer has done to everyone else, but it seems ridiculous, but I trust me on this. Trust me on this. This will take us down. All right, quick break. Today's episode is brought to you by Manspunk. Fellas, let's be honest. Somewhere along the line, self care stopped being for us. It became candles, journaling, a guy named Trevor telling you to feel your feelings. That's not what Manspunk is about. Manspunk is an all in one daily supplement designed specifically for men who don't want to change anything about their lifestyle, but still want results. One scoop in the morning, and suddenly you're standing up straighter, your handshakes are firmer, you don't sigh when you sit down anymore. Is it vitamins? Is it protein? Is it just powdered confidence? We don't know, and honestly, neither do they. What we do know is this: guys who take Manspunk report feeling more decisive, less apologetic, and weirdly ready to fight a guy at Home Depot. And listen, this isn't about being toxic. It's about reclaiming the version of yourself that knew how to grill without a recipe. Best part? No subscriptions, no auto shipments, no emails asking if you're still on your wellness journey. Just a tub, a scoop, and the quiet understanding that you're doing something powerful. Go to manspunk.com and use promo code PAT for 20% off your first tub. Manspunk. You don't need it, but you'll feel like you do. Manspunk is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent anything except a general sense of disappointment. Side effects may include overconfidence, unnecessary opinions, long eye contact, sudden interest in woodworking, and believing you could survive in the wilderness. Do not take Manspunk if you are allergic to confidence, accountability, or the concept of leg day. If confidence lasts longer than 4 hours, congratulations. Consult no one. Guys, while we're in the little ad break here, let's go ahead and give a shout out to Rudy Tuesday. That is the comedy podcast that I do with comedians Breck Michael and Rudy Marinosi. That episode, Jesus Christ. I really got to write this one down, don't I? Episodes come out every Tuesday morning at 7. Available anywhere you get podcasts. Earlier this week on Tuesday, we did have the very funny comedian Jenna Trudell on. Goes by Jenna Says Qua on all her social medias, as far as I know anyway. And go check us out on Twitter. We've got a lot of takes that make it there that don't always make it to the show. You guys have heard this a million times. And please like and subscribe to the show. Share it with a friend. Share it with a relative. Tell your grandma who doesn't care. Just make her listen to it. She doesn't know you're doing it anyway. If you put Spotify on her phone and just press play, she won't even know what's happening. Just share us with the world and help people come back. And the more we grow this, the more we can do more shows. The more we can do more shows. That doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. The fact of the matter is that the regular season has just ended, and everyone kind of pretends that they're not exhausted, or that the playoffs are when we lie to ourselves the most. Like this. It's a tough time because it is an inevitable end to the football season, which no one wants. But then we get to have some more hypotheticals. We get to finally see the biggest game. I get to take a Monday off in a couple weeks because there's not a fucking chance I don't watch the Super Bowl. If the Bills are in it, I'm 100% taking the day off afterwards. Win or lose. It really just is a matter of if I'm burning my house down or not, with a smile on my face or in anger. That's really the big difference, and I live in a cabin. It'll go up quick, okay? I've seen the insulation. I've seen the roof. Whoever built it, he did a shoddy job, and it's not good. This house will go up quickly. I promise you that. If the Bills make it to the Super Bowl and lose, I will burn this motherfucker down, okay? That sounds like a joke. It's a promise. I'm not actually gonna burn down my house. I hope people got that that was a joke. But just in case this gets, like, read off in a transcript in court or something, like, that's never gonna play well. You have to put "this is a joke" at the end. Kinda kills the vibe. But anyway, guys, that's the show for today. Had a lot of fun. We sped through some topics. It Football is winding down, and so we don't have as much football to talk about. That's just how it is. I'm not gonna sit around here and go through every game and talk about the losers. I don't give a fuck about them. We've got the entire offseason to talk about them. I'm focused on the winners, babe. Except for the Panthers. The Panthers actually did lose, but still made it into the playoffs somehow, despite needing it's like they needed someone else to win for them to get in the playoffs. It was so weird. Disappointing for Tampa Bay, but whatever. The Bake Show will carry on, I believe. But that's the show for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you next week.